Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So this is CxO Global Forum's webinar, and the topic for today is commerce and integration. I was going to be moderating the session today. So I've been asked to moderate this session. So I hope I do an okay job in that. So with us on this webinar, we have Mr. Omar Khalid, Ms. Gulfishan Sheikh, Mr. Furqan Aziz, and Mr. Asim Khan. For an icebreaker, I would request all the attendees to quickly introduce themselves, use their companies, what do they do, so that we can have some context around the discussion that we have going forward. So starting with you, Umar.
Ji, my name is Umar Khalid. I am the Chief Operating Officer for Tasdeeq. We are State Bank's licensed credit bureau. We were the first credit bureau which got licensed in Pakistan under the State Bank Regulations and Credit Bureau Act. Basically, we provide our data services to all the financial institutions in Pakistan who are doing any sort of lending. So they report all lending data to us. And based on this data, we have a repository of products and services which we offer to these companies. We've got data for around 22 million borrowers in Pakistan, which is updated on a monthly basis. And this includes commercial banks, microfinance industry, NBFCs, and SCCP and State Bank regulated entities.
Thank you, Umar.
Thank you so much, Yasir, for having me today here. This is Furqan. I'm running a software development company, outsourcing company. We are empowering from the digital side, from the tech side to the e-commerce and fintech solutions or service providers or solution providers. InvoZone founded back in 2020, and since then we were able to grow from 0 to 600 people. Right now we are running with 600 people in 7 offices in the world, including Pakistan. Pakistan is our major office, having the major headcount. US is our headquarter. US, Canada, UK, London, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Dubai, and Pakistan. These are where we are located right now. So, जब कोई भी venture they plan to, they ideate to go into the digital space, specifically from the e-commerce side or fintech side, or the kind of combination or a bridge between with these two areas. That's where we come in. So people normally come to us for the actual development of the platform. E-commerce platform भी हो सकता है, वो fintech platform भी हो सकता है, और वो integrations भी हो सकते हैं between two, or maybe integration of the third stuff as well, like CRMs or ERPs, or connecting the data streams to their data banks or data lakes where they go to the analytics part. So we are kind of technology partner for the people working in this space.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Furqan. Essen, over to you.
Gee, thank you so much, Yasir. So Khazana Enterprise, I'll just be brief. So we are cloud services company. Across the country,
others can share that if they were able to hear Essen well, or
yes, Essen, we missed what you said. We could not hear you properly.
जी, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
जी, अब बहुत बेहतर होगी.
I just changed my net. My apologies for that. So I was saying Khazana Enterprise is a cloud services, local cloud services, and a systems integrated company. We're doing a lot of work with the government of Pakistan in the managed services space. We're running the 911 helpline for the government, across Pakistan, and then doing a lot of public-private partnership projects. And then we pivoted to Khazana Pay late last year, and then into digital healthcare, basically, with our remote patient management software. So my objective coming here is to share what we're doing with Khazana Pay. We're trying to become an aggregator, but specifically focused on solving the government payments problem. As I said, retail ka itna hamara focus nahi hai, but We're also doing it for some of our e-commerce players. We've recently, onboarded Jumo PK with our UPI Unified Payment Interfaces. But so that's what we're trying to do with Khazana Pay as becoming an aggregator, super aggregator for all payments and collection and disbursements, basically. Over to you, Yasir or Gulfisha, whoever.
Thank you so much, Justin. Over to you. Gulfisha, can you hear us? Uh,
I can
you
hear
can hear
you.
me, guys, right? So I'll give
I can
my
hear you.
introduction while I get Gulfisha back online. So my name is Yasir Elias. I am the Chief Commercial Officer at Tech Wisely. I recently joined Tech Wisely in this position. Tech Wisely is a company that is based out of UK, but it is now rapidly growing. It has its presence in Pakistan officially now, and it's also looking at the MEA region. And to summarize it for the audience, Tech Wisely is the Uber of e-commerce platform. So, like Uber doesn't have its single cab, but it's the biggest cab, company. Similarly, TechWisely doesn't have an e-commerce platform of its own, but it is going to facilitate everyone. So I'm very glad to have the panel that basically will be my partners going forward. So I will be needing, someone to help me with the credit scoring, to lend someone some money. I would be looking for the payment integrations. I will be looking for developments. And so I'm very glad to be part of this panel. Thank you, CxO for making me part of that. The kind of experience that I would have wanted to discuss and, connect with. So Gulfisha is back.
Hi,
Gulfisha, over,
so sorry. We're just having some connectivity issues post work
no,
actually.
no.
So thank you so much, CXO Forum, for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to join such esteemed panel here. I'm Gulfisha. I'm the treasurer at Telenor Bank Easy Pesa. I'm sure everybody is familiar with Easy Pesa. Telenor Bank is a microfinance bank. Started in 2006. We acquired Easy Pesa down the line, and we have two foreign shareholding: Telenor Group and Alipay. We have about 12 million users. We have 52 branches, over 100,000 agents that make us one of the largest networks in Pakistan. The aim is to become a super app, which we are geared towards, and we have a digital first strategy. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Gulfisha. So now towards the main, the discussion points. So the first discussion point that I have, which is related to how can e-commerce business basically leverage. So I'm very glad that all the relevant. I'm very glad that CXO was able to get all the relevant people in this discussion. So when even the first question that I'm going to ask is going to touch with each one of you. So please take your turns and share your input into it. So the first question is about how can e-commerce leverage from the fintech, especially in terms of say like payments, in terms of integration, fraud detection, and prevention. When I say payment, so Omar, that is one area where I was thinking payment is on e-commerce is not just the account to account transfer or payment through card or cash on delivery, but this opens door to buy now pay later kind of services as well, right? Which requires some credit assessment of the person buying on the platform. So if you guys want to take turns and
So
contribute
I'll
to this
I'll, I'll
question.
just start because I did not thank CXO Forum. सबसे पहले तो CXO का शुक्रिया कि they invited me in that whole internet debacle में I just went through the spiel of Khazana. So I'll just take that opportunity to thank Kawal and the team
Yeah.
for inviting and obviously gathering all of us in this. So my take is here, and we're relatively new in this space. So e-commerce and fintech integration. I mean, अगर आप साल पहले जाएं तो you could see COD was the preferred one. I got some stats just for this call. 85% is COD, and 15% is prepayment. So, the integration level is not there. ये integration है भी, तो trust level अभी consumer का नहीं है. But अगर ये हो जाए, यानी कि e-commerce, so, or the customer gets the ease, customer journey improves tremendously. You get a unified payment interface. Whoever that those are providing, the Khazana Pay is providing that right now. So digital wallets हो गए, different payment card schemes हो गई, PayPal आ गया या कल रास्त आ जाता है. So and or bank to bank account transfers. So वो जब checkout का experience होगा, तो that will create that कि यार एक ही interface है, you can pay from all of those options. So that will increase the trust level. So I was discussing just for this talk with a partner of ours, PayFast. They were telling me कि यार ये issue वो ये कि एक तो reverse logistics नहीं है, people want to see the good, यहाँ पे consumer protection नहीं है कि यार once you order a good from e-commerce site, people want to see कि जो COD का वो मुझे कहा था कि is a predominant इसीलिए है कि they want to see if the good has been delivered as per the expectation, as per the picture on the e-commerce site, and then they want to say कि अच्छा अब हम पैसे दे देते हैं. So that trust level is missing, and if there is a central consumer authority, which like all the fintechs are regulated by the state bank or they fall under some regulation. For e-commerces, there's no regulatory centralized authority for the consumers' protection, and that's why was COD पे रहेगा. तो integration, yes, with a UPI that will really bring the consumer को ease कर दे कि उसकी journey improve हो जाएगी. But I think ये एक missing link है. जब तक ये हम नहीं complete करेंगे, so COD will still be up there, and the integration, even though they will be there, but the prepayments will not take off. Basically, that's my 2 cents on it.
I'll
Thank
also
you.
say, as the Steak, we call ourselves the fintech of the fintechs and the tech. It includes both e-commerce and other fintechs also. और जो आपने बात की of credit assessment or credit scoring की, that's exactly what we are doing in terms of providing these services to the e-commerce platforms, whether they are BNPL players, whether they are online shopping stores, whether they want to extend credit to anybody else. So they are integrated to our platform, and they can do a credit check either through extracting data from us and using their own engines, or they can use our scoring model, which are based on our algorithms and AI and machine learning algorithms. They can use those and use them as a credit decisioning tool to whether to extend credit to their customers or not. So all these services we have integrated to our platform, and a lot of companies, the financial industry is using us, but now the e-commerce industry has started integrating with us, using our APIs to do an instant decision on whether to extend a credit or to do installments for the products that they are selling.
Thank you, Umar. And Gulfisha, the same question for you because you represent the financial industry. A lot of we have seen that a lot of banks in Pakistan, for example, they have gone the route of developing their own e-commerce platform and experimenting with that. So when I think of e-commerce is much more bigger than just that transaction that's happening on the website. So you have logistic company involved with it. You have credit scoring involved with it. You have payment integration, which is going hand in hand with it. And then you have last mile that you need to ensure that from the customer experience perspective that is taken care of. So as a financial representative of the financial industry, how do you see e-commerce developing or evolving for a financial firm?
Okay. So yeah, sir, I feel that the fintech industry, the e-commerce partners, the banks, all have to take a step forward and start collaborating. As we move towards digital revolution in this country, we cannot do it alone. So it has to be a collaborative effort, and we need to all have open APIs so that when we collaborate with each other or have a sync in with each other, we provide ease to our customers, and that is how we will be able to take that e-commerce steps forward for customer ease. And when we talk about payments, for that matter, we have to secure both the merchants, we have to secure our customers, and we have to secure ourselves as an institution also. So when we talk about that, it's very important that we have some KYCs in place. We need to have to factor authentication, the OTPs. All of that takes a massive leap forward in that. And then there are a lot of workings over AIs and fraud detections and machine learnings, and we have to prevent a lot of frauds that are frequent or recurrent happening. So as a platform, as a banking platform, we try to make it easy for our customers. We try to make it as seamless as possible, in terms of whether it's account opening or it's either trying to do a transaction, and we try to ensure there's full visibility for that customers. So we're trying to ensure that the customers have a very enriched experience, and trying to collaborate with as many possible platforms and partners available.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dilpusha. So Furqan, from your development experience perspective, you might be seeing a surge in the development requirement, but like it's more focused on the global export, right? As you even mentioned during your intro that a lot of development is done for the countries abroad. So what kind of contribution do you see for the development from the software houses or development companies within Pakistan? Uh, how, how much have been the engagement that you have experienced yourself?
पाकिस्तान जो है वो किसी से पीछे नहीं है किसी भी हवाले से.
Excellent job.
हाँ जी, और इन्फोजोन समेत बहुत सारी कंपनीज ऐसी हैं जिन्होंने बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सीलेंट प्रोडक्ट्स के ऊपर काम किया हुआ है. अगर हम ख़जाना की बात करें, इजी पैसा, दूर क्या जाना, इजी पैसे की बात करें, इजी पैसे से पहले हम देखते थे किस तरह के चैलेंजेस हमें आते थे. एंड अगर हम उमर साहब जो एफर्ट्स कर रहे हैं उनको देख लें, तो एवरीवन इज़ ट्राइंग देयर लेवल बेस्ट टू गिव अ स्मूथ एंड वेरी ट्रांसपेरेंट एक्सपीरियंस एंड टू एंड, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम वेंडर लिस्टिंग से लेके, जब एक वेंडर ने अपनी प्रोडक्ट्स को लिस्ट करना है किसी ई कॉमर्स स्टोर के ऊपर, वहाँ से लेके मार्केटिंग तक, और मार्केटिंग से लेके कस्टमर एक्विजिशन तक, जब कस्टमर एक्वायर हो रहा है और उसने अब कार्ट में ऐड करना है और अबंडेंट कार्ट से हमने उनको बचाना है, और फिर उसके बाद उनको पेमेंट की तरफ. अबंडेंट कार्ट के बहुत सारी रीजन जो है ना वो पेमेंट रिलेटेड होती हैं कि मैंने एक चीज़ बाय करनी है लेकिन मेरे पास वो पेमेंट मेथड अवेलेबल ही नहीं है जो आपकी साइट पे लिस्टेड है. तो उसके लिए जैसे हसन खान साहब ने कहा कि जनाब 10 पेमेंट मेथड्स अवेलेबल हैं और उसमें से हो सकता है मेरे पास एक मेथड हो जो आपकी साइट ने इंटीग्रेट ही ना किया हुआ हो. तो अगर आपको कोई ऐसी चीज़ मिल जाती है जिसमें वो 10 के 10 पेमेंट गेटवेज इंटीग्रेटेड हैं और आपको वो एफर्ट्स नहीं करनी पड़ती है बहुत ज़्यादा, एंड ट्रस्टेड जो है ना वो आपको एक वेंडर या पार्टनर मिल जाता है, तो यू कैन ईजिली अपग्रेड योर वन payment gateway to 10 payment options to your providers, your customers actually, but with one provider, with minimal सी जो है ना आपको एक इंटीग्रेशन हेल्प चाहिए होती है. तो अगर मैं अपने डेवलपमेंट पर्सपेक्टिव से देखूं, जो मेरे पास क्लाइंट्स आ रहे हैं, जो लोग आ रहे हैं, उनके पर्सपेक्टिव से देखूं, तो अब डायनामिक्स चेंज हो गए हैं. अब हर बंदा प्लग एंड प्ले की तरफ जा रहा है, एंड प्लग एंड प्ले की इतनी चीज़ें अवेलेबल हैं. हाँ जी, प्लग एंड प्ले में कस्टम डेवलपमेंट इज़ वेरी रेयर, bespoke डेवलपमेंट इज़ वेरी रेयर. ऑफ द शेल्फ में से आप प्लग उठाते हैं, प्लग करते हैं, और आपका ई कॉमर्स स्टोर अवेलेबल. शॉपिफाई को देख लीजिए, मेजेंटो को देख लीजिए, उसके बाद हमारे पेमेंट गेटवे जितने भी हैं उनको देख लीजिए. देयर बीन अ टाइम व्हेन बैंक्स वर वेरी रिलक्टेंट गिविंग द ओपन एपीआईज, एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ पेमेंट इंटीग्रेशन रिलेटेड मैटर्स. कुछ हमारे बैंक्स हैं जो उनमें थोड़ा नवाब कल्चर भी पाया जाता रहा है और इस वजह से वो थोड़ा नहीं करते, लेकिन नाउ दे अंडरस्टैंड द नीड ऑफ द टाइम कि यार ये इसके बगैर नहीं हो सकता. और हमारी जो जनरेशन है, सबसे ज़्यादा हमारा जो बायर है वो ई कॉमर्स स्टोर के ऊपर अगर हम सर्वेस को देखें तो दैट फॉल बिटवीन 20 and 30 ईयर्स ओल्ड. तो ये वो हमारा यंग पीपल हैं जो टीन एज से आगे हुए हैं, और अभी दे आर द पीपल हु आर गोना ड्राइव द बिजनेसेस नेक्स्ट. अब यही 20 से 30 साल के वाले लोग जब 30 से 40 साल वाली एज में जाएंगे तो वो अपने बिजनेस से स्टैंड करेंगे, और दे ऑल आर लुकिंग फॉर ई कॉमर्स. आज मैं अगर एक जिम ट्रेनर से बात करता हूँ तो वो भी सोच रहा है कि यार मैं व्हाई नॉट आई एस्टैब्लिश एन ऑनलाइन स्टोर फॉर माई जिम रिलेटेड स्पोर्ट्स गुड्स, कि मैं जो जिम में मेरे इतनी छोटी सी चीज़ है बट वो उसको भी सोच रहे हैं. तो ई कॉमर्स इज़ बूमिंग क्वाइट मच, और हम उसमें डेवलपमेंट साइड पे जैसे आपकी डिमांड बढ़ेगी तो डेफिनेटली डेवलपमेंट साइड पे वर्कलोड भी ज़्यादा आएगा, और रेडीमेड सॉल्यूशंस ज़्यादा इस वक्त जो है ना प्रेफरेबल हैं. तो मेरा ख्याल है कि लोग रेपिटेटिव सेल्स के लिए और रेडीमेड सॉल्यूशंस के ऊपर ज़्यादा काम करें. दैट्स माय 2 सेंट्स. एंड ऐसा नहीं है कि यस ई कॉमर्स प्लेटफॉर्म्स का कंपटीशन डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज़ में ज़्यादा है, पाकिस्तान में कम है. इस वजह से पाकिस्तान में अभी एक अनटैप्ड मार्केट बहुत ज़्यादा मौजूद है, ग्रो करने के लिए कैपेसिटी मौजूद है। तो दिस इज़ काइंड एन इन्विटेशन टू एवरीवन जो अभी स्पेस में नहीं आया। तो मुझे लगता है कि नियर फ्यूचर हम हर चीज़ अपने एक मोबाइल फ़ोन से कर रहे होंगे, ई कॉमर्स, एंड हर चीज़ में ई कॉमर्स जुड़ी है। अगर आपने आज, मैं नाम नहीं लेना चाहता स्पेसिफिक ब्रांड का बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट अ मार्केटिंग थिंग, बट अगर आप फूड पांडा को देख लें, चीते को देख लें, तो आप पहले सिर्फ फूड ऑर्डर कर सकते थे, अब आप बहुत सारी चीज़ें और भी ऑर्डर कर सकते हैं। मेट्रो ने अपना मेट्रो ऑनलाइन के नाम से पूरा पोर्टल दिया हुआ है। तो दीज आर द एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ काइंड ऑफ फॉरवर्ड लुकिंग ई कॉमर्स सॉल्यूशंस जो कि हमारे फिजिकल स्टोर से निकल के ई कॉमर्स की तरफ जो है वो डिजिटल सेलिंग परचेजिंग की तरफ जा रहे हैं।
Thank you, Furkan, and I think very good points you have made. So I agree. My 2 cents in it is also that there are plug and play solutions. So, for example, if I'm looking for a credit scoring company, I don't need to develop a credit scoring solution. Someone has already done it. I need to use it. If someone has developed like a payment solution, I don't need to develop my own. And I think more importantly, and basically again, like on behalf of the financial industry, I think Gulfisha can endorse this or comment on this, that I think even for banks, I think it is very important for the banks to because the topic here is e-commerce and fintech. So fintechs like Tasdeeq, like Essence, Khazana Pay, they are already developing some solutions that are ready for plug and play, right? So from the bank's financial industry perspective, I'm seeing Furkan's point that it is more of adoptive, strategy would work better because you cannot do everything on your own. You have other people who have the core, which is a context for you. So, for example, um, credit scoring is a core for Tasdeeq, but a context for me or say Khazana Pay or Gulfisha or Furqan, right? But if I support Omar in what he is doing by integrating him, by using his services, then I think I'm benefiting myself, not Omar. So Gulfisha, your take on this, and then we'll move to the next point.
So yes, we have an. I kind of missed out in the middle. So could you repeat your question and then I can give my feedback?
No, so basically we concluded at Furqan's, comment that Furqan said that it is a time where, a lot of fintechs are developing solutions. And,
Yes.
From the financial industry perspective, it's a good idea that financial industry, integrates or uses these already developed solutions and create the customer experience they want to offer to their customers, and rather than developing it in-house by themselves.
Absolutely. So if I could just give an example of something what we do at our end. So there's so many more wealth management options available in the market that we can offer as a financial institution. So we've partnered up with a few mutual funds. We were offering on the app. In addition to the savings rate that we offer, we're offering a gold product, so people can order gold products online, invest in gold from the convenience of their own home. So all of these are just examples of what we can do together. And like Furqan already said, we are no less in terms of capabilities in Pakistan. In fact, I wanted to quote something. I want to, like, we do a lot of focus groups at our organizations, and we keep meeting a lot of students, and we found out that most people have interest, the younger generation have interest in doing e-commerce businesses, and they take electives of e-commerce as a subject rather than pursuing committed jobs like for any institutions or fintech for that matter. There is a paradigm shift in terms of people, that they understand that scalability of e-commerce platforms is much more.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gulfisha. And I'll move on to the next topic now, which is more related to regulations around e-commerce. So there was someone on the panel who said that, because I grew up in US, so I know that there is a consumer group that basically dictates how the merchants should behave, right? And it's a very strong group. So in Pakistan, unfortunately, we don't have those groups that can influence the customer service quality or custom experience that the customers are expecting. So I think the only way to bridge this gap is to bring the e-commerce platform in the ambit of you can say like the fintechs and the banks, where to a larger extent those things are regulated, those things are monitored, and there is a strong body that can support a weak body, which is the consumer in this case, right? So the question is more about regulations that what are the regulatory challenges or compliance requirements that the e-commerce business needs to be aware of when integrating with the fintech solution. For example, if I'm connecting with Omari or Tasdeeq for credit scoring on my e-commerce platform, let's take two examples. So one example is that e-commerce platform is sitting outside of the bank, and it's abc.com, right? Whereas the second one is the e-commerce platform is sitting within the bank's own application, right? So from the regulation perspective, where do you see this differs?
Again, on regulation, on credit bureaus or information related to borrowing or credit scoring, the regulations are very clear. State Bank is an excellent regulator, and they have defined very clearly if somebody wants to extract information out of a credit bureau or wants to get information out of a bank, the rules and regulations are very clear. We cannot provide information to any institution without a consent. So an e-commerce platform has to be very vigilant in terms of gaining customers' consent before they extract information from a fintech like us. So either they do it manually or in their terms and conditions or digitally, they have to ensure that this happens. So and then on our side, the regulations are clear. We have to verify whether that consent has been taken before we pass on that information to the institution. So on the B2B side, which is where it resides with the banks or the financial institution, the e-commerce gateway, they are very vigilant. They know exactly what the regulations are. They are regulated very well, and they follow all the requirements which is expected of them. But on the other side, where in the e-commerce gateway is independent, working independently, there again, there is no clear-cut regulator. But I have an opinion over there that you don't require a regulator to implement unnecessary regulations on retail, on other things. I mean, retail in terms of non-digital retail or non-e-commerce retail has been working for ages. So the market itself regulates, and market itself, defines what kind of norms are in place. So let's not try to regulate e-commerce. Let it expand. In terms of consumer protection and other things, State Bank and SECP regulates institutions like us who are providing these services, and we ensure that the e-commerce follows those requirements due diligently.
Perfect. So I agree that as much we can get away from the regulations, and
Exactly.
so we'll be removing the roadblocks in the customer experience, if you will. However, there are certain instances where the regulation and compliance is a must for providing the service, such as your service, where if I'm going to be providing credit scoring, then I need to be I should give the consent, and
Yeah, you get the
if
consent. Exactly.
yeah, and if the experience is through a bank, then it is much streamlined, and much, I'll feel much more confident giving my consent
Exactly.
versus if it's a website sitting outside of the bank's platform, then I will think twice before giving my consent because I don't know how this will be used, right? Now, I'll come to SN, the same regulation and compliance on your side, that you mentioned that 90% or 99, 95% of the transactions are either happening cash on delivery or account to account transfer. So, there's a small percentage which is basically linked to the other kind of payments, right? So,
G.
what kind of challenges do you see?
So yeah, 85% is COD. So the point which I was trying to make was here 15% is prepayments, yeah, online payments, real-time payments. सो अगर हमने ये वॉल्यूम बढ़ाना है कि ई कॉमर्स, देखिए रिटेलर को वंस ही गेट्स एन ऑर्डर, आइडियली ही वुड वांट कि उसी दिन की सेटलमेंट हो जाए उसके अकाउंट में, उसी दिन यू नो ही गेट्स द मनी एंड कंज्यूमर का शिप हो जाए बेसिकली। अब यूजुअली तो होता ही है कि बाहर तो होता है एस्क्रो अकाउंट बनते हैं, एस्क्रो अकाउंट में रखा जाता है। अब एस्क्रो वाली चीज़ तो प्रॉब्ली लेट्स से इफ इजी पैसा और ये क्या कहते हैं, और तामीर बैंक कम्स अप विद ई कॉमर्स मार्केट प्लेस और प्लेटफॉर्म, मे बी दे कैन हैंडल इट फॉर देयर ओन वॉलेट्स एंड, बट जनरली वो नहीं हो सकेगा। तो द बेस्ट, सेकंड बेस्ट ऑप्शन इज टू प्रमोट कि यार आप यूनिफाइड पेमेंट इंटरफेसेस दें, और सीओडी पे जो कस्टमर ट्रस्ट है उसके लिए एक बैंकिंग ओम्बड्समैन जिस तरह होता है कि यार आपका अगर आज एटीएम का कोई रिवर्स हो जाए ट्रांजैक्शन, पॉस की कोई ट्रांजैक्शन रिवर्स हो जाए, यू नो यू आर प्रोटेक्टेड बाय द स्टेट बैंक, यू विल गेट योर मनी बैक। आप कहीं एक दो लेटर्स लिखेंगे, यू नो, सो वो प्रोटेक्शन कंज्यूमर डजंट फील फॉर ई कॉमर्स प्लेटफॉर्म्स। उसकी भी वजह ये है कि देन दे आर दीज लार्ज प्लेटफॉर्म्स, देन दे आर दीज mom and pop shops. अब वो हर एक, everybody wants to sell and they're selling something which is very very good for the trading economy locally, but वो उसका the issue becomes when there's a refund has to be given or reverse logistics आती हैं basically, तो रिवर्स लॉजिस्टिक्स आती हैं एंड दैट्स द होल इशू, जहाँ पे बेसिकली एक कंज्यूमर ये कोई एक ई कॉमर्स की भी कंप्लेंट्स, या कंप्लेंट्स में इट्स नॉट राइट वर्ड, अगर कोई उसकी बात सुनवाई हो सके, बैंकिंग ओपन भी कर ले, तो दैट विल यू नो ग्रेटली इंक्रीज द कॉन्फिडेंस। और ये 85% सीओडी जो है, if that comes, just imagine अगर वो 50% पे आ जाए, 50% ऑनलाइन पेमेंट हो जाए, ई कॉमर्स और मतलब कितने फिनटेक्स का वॉल्यूम एंड प्रॉफिट किस तरह राइज कर जाएगा, एंड दैट विल मीन मोर जॉब्स, मोर इंटीग्रेशंस एंड मोर ई कॉमर्स स्टोर्स। जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस 85 to 15% की पैरिटी की वजह से वी आर सीइंग कि ई कॉमर्स की ग्रोथ यूं स्लोली हो रही है, इट्स नॉट राइजिंग लाइक दिस, एक स्पीड में चलती है बेसिकली। इसलिए इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि इसको हम फोकस करें। इंटीग्रेशन जिस तरह फुरकान ने कहा कि यार आपके पास ऐसे डेवलपर्स हैं जो अच्छी चीज़ इंटीग्रेट कर देते हैं, यूपीआई इज एन आंसर। दूसरा एक पॉइंट मैं जरूर कहना चाहूँगा कि जिस तरह मोबाइल वर्चुअल नेटवर्क ऑपरेटर्स हैं, आई थिंक वन ऑफ द बिग बैंक्स, दे शुड, और जितने भी बैंक्स हैं आई थिंक जितने भी वॉलेट्स बनाए हुए, दे शुड ऑल्सो गो एंड गिव द वॉलेट्स ताकि वाइट लेबल कर सकें फिनटेक्स एंड ई कॉमर्स प्लेयर्स, बजाय को हर चीज़ अपने पास रखें और हर चीज़ खुद करने की कोशिश करें। दे शुड वाइट लेबल इट एंड दे शुड बी बॉदर्ड अबाउट कि यार मेरे प्लेटफॉर्म पे ट्रांजैक्शन आ रही है एंड आई एम गेटिंग अ सर्टेन परसेंटेज, एंड दे शुड बी हैप्पी, दे शुड इंक्रीज द वॉल्यूम। आई मीन वर्जिन मोबाइल, you know, it's MVNO, it doesn't own any towers globally। और वो आप देखें मतलब वो प्रीपेड खरीद के अभी यहाँ पाकिस्तान में भी there's another one coming in। So I think banks need to shift this mindset, एक प्रोटेक्टिज्म और एक पुराना ट्रेडिशनल है कि नहीं हमारी चीज़ हमारी ही है, ओपन इट अप, वाइट टेबल वॉलेट्स करना शुरू कर दें। आप देखें फिनटेक्स किस तरह लेफ्ट राइट एंड सेंटर आते हैं, यस, एंड बैंक्स के अपनी प्रोटेक्शन भी देंगे उसको, तो दे कैन डू देयर KYC, दे कैन डू देयर ऑल देयर चेक्स and then give the white label wallets basically. But that is something I really want to see in Pakistan, where by white labeling I can just go in and sign a partnership with Easy Paisa and do a white label of Khazana wallet, पीछे वो Easy Paisa के wallet होगा, but I will be handling the customer, I'll be focusing on the customer, मैं उनके issues solve करूँगा पीछे। For collection disbursement I'll be using Easy Paisa, and they should be happy about it, they're getting some revenue from a business जो उनके पास नहीं था पहले। I think ये भी एक मिसिंग लिंक है जो जरूरी है बेसिकली।
जी नहीं, I totally agree, and I think इसको अगर मैं इसको थोड़ा समराइज करूँ तो जैसे बैंक्स हैं, बैंक्स the biggest I would say the asset they have is their customers. So अगर आप किसी बैंक के पास भी इस वक्त जाएंगे तो banks are normally chasing or they have the KPI of getting more merchants on the banking platform or to the bank, right? So अगर एक collective sense में अगर banks काम करना शुरू करें तो I think everyone is going to benefit, as Hassan has rightly pointed out. Okay, banks, they have a huge base of customers, and every bank has a small base of merchants. So once all the merchants are grouped together as merchants, not bank A's merchant or bank B's merchant, So, there will be collectively more merchants for your own bank's customers, which means more revenue for the bank. So I totally agree with that. And I think, it is more about, the moment I start doing e-commerce through a banking application, for example, or through something which is regulated, something which has money, and they can support me when someone defaults me. I think that's a sense of insurance that we are getting through that. And, someone who have the power and leverage to fix the situation. So even for banks, because at the end of the day, the banks are going to be banks, they'll continue to do banking. They need to rely on fintechs. They need to rely on partners for the e-commerce solution as well within the domain of banks.
So yeah,
Gulfisha,
sir,
your take
if
on
I
it.
could add, yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit on this. Okay, so banks ये करते हैं, हम भी एज एन इंस्टीट्यूशन करते हैं, बट वो डे लाइट एक्सपोजर्स होते हैं. सो एज अ फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस मेरी रिपोर्टिंग्स भी होती हैं, मेरी लाइंस भी होती हैं, मेरे रिस्क एपेटाइट फ्रेमवर्क को भी मुझे केटर फॉर करना पड़ता है. बट येस, मर्चेंट्स के लिए या अपनी ट्रांजैक्शंस को थ्रू करने के लिए मेरे पास डे लाइट एक्सपोजर्स होते हैं, और हम लोग एक सर्टन प्री फंडिंग की लिमिट्स रख के उनको अकाउंट फॉर करते हैं या क्रेडिट करते हैं कस्टमर्स के लिए. एंड एज एसन वाज सेइंग के वाइट लेबल करना चाहिए, बिल्कुल वी अग्री विद यू गाइस ऑन इट. बट बीइंग अ फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन ना, हमारे लिए बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है केवाईसी. सो स्टेट बैंक हैज दिस
Absolutely.
extremely strict prudential regulations that we have to account for. So हमारे level 0, 1, 2 के accounts हैं, and with FETF right on our on the review all the time. बड़ी मुश्किल से ग्रे लिस्ट से हम वाइट लिस्टिंग पे आए हैं. So and this, all of this effort has been done because of a lot of documentations and knowing each and every merchant, customers, and all the relevant documentations that were required. So unfortunately, there is this white elephant in the room that we have to address. But we understand that white labeling is the way to go forward. एंड जितने हम अपने AML KYC की पॉलिसीज को रोबस्ट करते हैं, उतने ही हम अपने मर्चेंट्स को, अपने कस्टमर्स को स्ट्रॉन्ग करते हैं. सो बैंकिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैव टू हैव दैट स्टर्डीनेस अवेलेबल to ensure the financial transactions go through well.
No, I think that's a very good point, and basically it's more linked to the KYC, and I totally agree that for e-commerce outside of the bank or outside of the fintech, I would say KYC is not a must. It's a good to have thing, but within the bank, it's a must. And it's a must when you are a merchant, it's a must when you are a customer. And I think if I link what you have said and what Essen have said, if I bring them together, then if the banks are having their own customers on whom bank A have done KYC, then bank B can utilize the KYC of that effort that bank A has done. Similarly, if bank on the merchant side, if bank B has done KYC on merchant A, then bank A can make use of that. So the concept of synergy and multiplier effect comes into play. I totally agree with that. Now, one of the questions that I have, and because of the lack of time that we have, I'm just going to put these questions and feel free anyone to answer this. So when we are looking at e-commerce is not just a website, or e-commerce is not just a payment integration, or not just the credit scoring. It involves a lot of different things, as Essen mentioned about the reverse logistics, the last mile. A lot of things are involved in making the experience better. So when we talk about fintechs, even though those technology companies which are not uh, formally claiming to be fintechs, but they are doing a lot of good work, such as there are companies which are let's say distributor aggregators, right? So they are aggregating the distribution of the e-commerce transactions. So they are, when we talk about e-commerce, there's a need for merchant onboarding on the e-commerce, which I think it's an area that requires focus and requires some expertise in that area, and then the catalog management and so on and so forth. So there's a lot that goes into making an e-commerce successful, and sometimes it is coming from technology, sometimes it is coming from the brick and mortar concept, sometimes it is coming from the traditional conversion of traditional ways of dealing. I'll just give you an example. So like if you go to say like MSME segment, which is a Kirana store, right? And if you go and ask them to put all their inventory on your platform, they're going to ask you to run away, right? They are not tech savvy, they don't function like this. So you have to come up with a solution which basically provides the ease of doing business with MSME segment, which is the most untapped potential. Similarly, there are females and males who are doing business from their homes. Some of them are selling, dresses on Facebook and WhatsApp, and they are asking for account-to-account transfer. So we can facilitate them because in any case, they're doing business. So I would like to invite you all to provide your, conclusions on this topic of e-commerce and fintech. So that what are the different players you're seeing in the context of e-commerce and fintech, and what is in your view the ideal solution that can bring them together, and so that we can make the e-commerce and the commerce in general successful, while, as Gulfishan said, not dismantling anything what we have achieved in the FETF.
Let me start with this. There are a lot of things that fintechs and e-commerce can do. And integration in terms of business is one thing, but integrations in terms of partnerships is another thing. For example, e-commerce sits on a wealth of data. Transactional data है उनके पास, आपके पास product की knowledge है, आपके पास customer behavior है. That data is not being monetized. So partnerships with companies जो कि उस data को monetize कर सकती हैं, companies like us and others, it's a big opportunity for e-commerce to start sharing that data. Let the experts develop models on that data, जो कि credit assessment कर सकते हो, income estimation कर सकते हो, आपकी उसकी हिस्ट्री देख के सारा जो है, तो those partnerships will benefit a lot to these to the e-commerce industry. और data monetize होगा और revenue sharing models के ऊपर everybody can work and everybody will have a win-win situation on that. इसके अलावा जो partnerships आनी है, जो digitization हो रही है financial industry की with new digital banks coming in, I think they are going to play a major role in terms of working with the fintech, with the e-commerce industry, because उनकी open APIs होनी है सारा, they'll have complete access to उनके जो wallets हैं उनके ऊपर access होगा, data sharing होगी, तो e-commerce industry will benefit a lot. And then finally, on my final say is कि every citizen in Pakistan must be educated on the benefits of reporting, on the benefits of credit history and credit scoring. इसके लिए we have taken an initiative and we have launched an app very recently, जिसमें anybody can go and register and they can look at they can take their credit report and they can look at their credit history and credit scoring. तो जो ये चीजें बढ़ती जाएंगी, the gap between e-commerce industry and fintechs जो है वो कम होता जाएगा और ये partnerships develop होती जाएंगी. That's my take on this.
ये बिल्कुल ठीक था. फुरकान,
अच्छा, जब बहुत सारी चीज़ें डेवलप हो जाती हैं तो उससे अगला स्टेप जो ये होता है कि आप उनको इंटीग्रेट करते हैं तो फंक्शन देम कम्युलेटिवली, ताकि जैसे भी हम लेवरेज करने की बात करें अक्रॉस द बोर्ड, अक्रॉस द बॉर्डर जाके हम दूसरों के डेटा और उनकी की हुई एफर्ट्स को लेवरेज करने की बात करें कि जी KYC की अगर जो है वो यहाँ पे कुछ सेंट्रल अथॉरिटीज़ की भी हमें ज़रूरत पड़ती है, महसूस होती है कि वो कुछ चीज़ें इन्फोर्स करें. जब आपने रेगुलेट करना होता है तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें इन्फोर्स होती हैं फ्रॉम द टॉप. तो मे बी काइंड ऑफ जो हमारे फिनटेक की मिनिस्ट्री की हम बात कर सकते हैं या हम स्टेट बैंक की बात कर सकते हैं. दे कैन कम अप विद समथिंग या सेंट्रल KYC. और KYC तो उतना मुश्किल रहा नहीं. KYC के साथ, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक KYC के साथ बहुत सारे टूल्स आ गए हुए हैं जो आपको बड़े आराम से जो है वो, अगेन जैसे हम टेक्नोलॉजी की बात कर रहे थे, तो अब तो मैनुअल KYC होती नहीं है, वो सारी KYC होती है. तो देयर कैन बी a central data bank जो कि accessible to the authorized of course merchants or authorized providers ताकि जो है वो उसको leverage. अब बैंक्स की ही अगर बात करें तो मैंने अगर अभी बैंक में जाके बैंक अकाउंट खुलवाना है तो डेफिनेटली आई हैव टू गो थ्रू अनदर प्रोसेस, और नेशनल बैंक के लिए भी सेम प्रोसेस जो है ना मुझे स्क्रैच से दोबारा से करना पड़ेगा. तो there need to be, I guess, a need of intervention from some kind of authorities to centralize and kind of lay down some protocols as well to integrate everyone to leverage the efforts done by someone and the data gathered. जैसे wealth और data की बात करें उमर साहब, तो yes that's right. हर person के पास हर department के पास हर venture के पास different sort of data मौजूद है जो कि दूसरे venture के लिए बड़ा healthy साबित हो सकता है, and vice versa as well of course. तो rather than कि आप B2C पे focus कर रहे हो, तो मेरा ख्याल है कि आपको B2B integrations के ऊपर भी बहुत ज़्यादा और टेक्नोलॉजी इसको बहुत आसान कर देती है, बिकॉज एवरीवन हैज अ डेटा बैंक, डेटा पूल एंड APIs ओपन करके आप बहुत ज़्यादा इंटीग्रेशन एस्टैब्लिश कर सकते हैं. तो अगर हम आज बात करें फॉर एग्जांपल ज़ैपियर की बात करें, ज़ैपियर इज़ वन ऑफ द टूल जो कि आपको अलाउ करता है बहुत सारे ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म को इंटीग्रेट करने में जो कि उनकी बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट इंटीग्रेशन नहीं आती. ठीक है, सो फ्रेश बुक्स हैं, क्विक बुक्स है जो कि अकाउंट होल्डिंग के जो है ना हमारे पास सिस्टम्स हैं, एंड अदर देन दैट हमारे पास जो है वो सॉर्ट ऑफ ई कॉमर्स प्लेटफॉर्म्स आ जाते हैं. तो अगर आपने सिर्फ शॉपिफाई को अपने क्विक बुक्स के साथ ही इंटीग्रेट करना है, दैट डजंट कम विद बाय डिफॉल्ट, तो आप सिंपली क्या करते हैं कि आप ज़ैपियर के पास जाते हैं विच इज थर्ड पार्टी, और वो आपको दोनों की इंटीग्रेशन दे देता है. तो दिस इज सॉर्ट ऑफ मे बी देयर इज अ रूम फॉर स्पेसिफिकली पाकिस्तानी मार्केट के हवाले से. since I'm from the technical background, so I am kind of ideating an idea here कि maybe someone comes in और जो कहे कि जी मैं एक central backbone हूँ and I have the integration with Mizan Bank and I have the integration with Draz and I have the integration with this and that and Easy Paisa and Jazz Cash blah blah blah, and I can provide you a central point of contact for everyone. So that's another idea. Maybe some investor, someone who can come on board and of course invest into this one. तो ये इंटीग्रेशन से बहुत ज़्यादा दुनिया और ज़िंदगी आसान हो जाएगी हमारे लिए मेरे ख्याल में.
So I just like to make a point. I have to leave now, unfortunately. So my sincere apologies to the viewers and to the panel. Unfortunately, I'm committed somewhere else. But I think great points और आप सबसे मिलके बहुत ही अच्छा लगा. Hopefully we'll be in touch.
Thank you,
Thank you, Asim. Thank you. G. Gulfisher.
Hi. So, in terms of fintech integration, I guess, yeah, examples.
No, fintech integrations or what are the upcoming trends, if you will. So it's just a concluding point from your side.
Sure. I think artificial intelligence and machine learning, I think these two, along with open banking, should create a lot of the right momentum going forward for e-commerce businesses. So targeted, suggestive sort of products for customers, and then having the right payment platform, seamless payment gateways available should also be stepping stone for e-commerce businesses in that front. And when we talk about open banking initiatives, having secure data available between merchants, financial institutions, third party will give access to e-commerce platform to do customer banking much better. And then in terms of security for customers, I think biometric authentication or for that KYC for Nadra viruses should provide that support to have customer security, the merchant onboarding easy, and having the reliability that is much needed. So a few of these points could help in terms of emerging trends. I think AI definitely should be running the forefront of this of the trends going forward.
Thank you, Gulfishan. So I was supposed to be a panelist as well. Just as I said that because a moderator had some emergency and they were not able to attend, so I had to play this role. I hope I've done it fine. But I'll share my 2 cents as well now because I've been asking questions so long. So everyone, what you have said is, I think, like I endorse it to a larger extent, and these were the ideas that I had in my mind as well. So when you think about what Furkan have said, what Umar have said, what Gulfasha have said, and what Ehsan was talking about, we are actually from different angles. We are actually talking about the same thing in essence. So if I start with what Furkan, going backwards. So what Furkan was talking about is what Gulfusha have reflected in the form of Nadra verification. So we have to go a step further. So in my view, I think, like, the way e-commerce right now is doing really, basically it's not at its potential, but it's increasing really, you can say, like, especially in the times where the dollar is so high, people are looking for good deals, good offers, and their last resort is always the e-commerce, and they're searching, they are buying things, and people are selling things from their cottage industry, from their homes. So now, as we have all talked about, that we need to provide a platform to the end merchant as well as the buyer to be able to sell it conveniently and securely to your end customers, and for the customers to be able to buy it from the merchant with not fearing that I'll not be given the service, or I'll be provided the inferior product or service. So in this, I totally agree that if from the credit scoring perspective, I think we are, because we're living in a third world where credit scoring is not yet a reality. But if you go anywhere in the world, you cannot even get anything in your life unless you have a good credit score. And good credit score is like sharafat that you want to maintain, at all time, right? So once you have a good credit score, you receive something from the financial industry. So, from the bank's perspective, I think banks should always be banks. They should be thinking about offering various products to the customers as a bank, rather than becoming an e-commerce platform e-commerce business themselves, because e-commerce business involves a lot more than just the technical part. So, I personally would say that if, as Essen was talking about, that if all the banks can come together and they start working together and co-sharing, for example, the merchants, what banks, I have met a lot of banks in the past 4 years, and what banks have been focusing more about is how can they create this e-commerce marketplace on their applications, uh, ignoring the, to a large extent, I would say, like, ignoring or not being able to see what their biggest strength is. Their biggest strength is their existing customers. So if their existing customers, even like if I look at Easy Pesa, they have huge customer base, right? And these are loyal customers to Easy Pesa. So rather than limiting them to, say, like my own merchants, if I am really going to offer them good service, I'll expose them to the merchant of other banks also. And the banks should find a way how, without investing much into managing the merchant, into managing the e-commerce business, into managing the delivery, how can they leverage these two market forces, which in e-commerce, if I simplify it, on one end it's the customer which buys, on the other end it's a merchant that sells. So how can financial industry facilitate these two market forces, regulate them well, do create some kind of KYC mechanism, so that I'm always confident, and create some kind of like Uber, as I said, like tech wisely is, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we do as well, because I've not done that so far. So tech wisely basically is the, as I said, like, it's the Uber of the e-commerce platform. So it helps the merchants find the buyers, and the buyers find the merchant. And even for distribution, we are linking with all the distribution channels and the aggregators of distributors and all that. So we are playing that part in trying to bring market forces together. And I think, like, the panel today represented by Omar, you from the credit side, Essen from the payment side, Furkan from the development side, Kulfisha from the financial industry perspective, from, because you face the most challenges from the state bank as a regulator. So I think it was an amazing discussion that I, had with everyone over here. I would like to thank you all for on behalf of CxO. Otherwise, I would be receiving the thanks as well if the moderator was there. So let me thank on behalf of CxO, for your time, and I think for very valuable input into it. If there's anything as a last comment you want to say, then please share your thoughts, and then I think we'll end this session.
Yes, thank you for lovely moderation. I think you came unprepared, but I think it went very well. All relevant questions, and it was an excellent discussion. And thank you,
Thank you.
CxO Global Forum, for inviting all of us. It was lovely meeting all of you, or especially looking at Furkan, young people who are doing so well and doing so many innovative things.
Yep.
Thank you so very much, Umar, and thank you, Yasir. As Umar said, you did an amazing job over last 1 year. I learned quite much from the 3-4 people over this call.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Yasir. It was very enlightening.
Thank you, everyone. So we are going to end the session now, and hopefully we'll meet with another exciting discussion.
Thank you. Thank
Take
you,
care.
everyone. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Assalamu alaikum.